And do we still take off our last names?
Yes, please. Hello, and welcome to the Whatever It Takes to Make Positive Change Summer Series. My name is Elise Dixon, and I will be the technical producer for today's event. This series is designed to encourage you to be innovative and creative and to develop solutions to a problem in your community. So let's get started. Our first moderator is Deja. Deja is our National Military Youth of the Year and an incoming freshman that will be attending George Washington University's Elliott School of International Affairs. Deja is passionate about creating an environment for leaders to emerge and for the fight for mental health equality. She's determined to make a difference. Welcome, Deja. Next, we have Bella. Bella is the 2019 Overseas Military Youth of the Year. She is 19 years old and a rising sophomore at Howard University. Her passions include environmental conservation, expanding diversity and inclusion efforts, and her historically homogeneous arenas and encouraging active voting participation with young adults just like herself. Welcome, Bella.
Thank you.
And last, but certainly not least, we have Shakira. Shakira is a student at the University of Arkansas, and she is the 2019 Arkansas Youth of the Year. Now, I will turn it over to your moderators who will introduce our panelists. Deja, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Ms. Elise. Our first panelist is a Boys and Girls Club alum and a great friend of mine, Ana Jubicko. Ana is a sophomore at Panama College studying economics, politics, and media studies. He's also the founder of Didomi, an organization with the mission to combat the water crisis in developing countries by selling quality reusable water bottles. Every bottle provides 10 years of clean, safe water access for a person in developing countries who needs it the most. Didomi partners with the international NGO Water is Life to carry out their mission and to make an impact in the world. To Ana, Didomi isn't just a company idea that came out of nowhere one day. He endured through the water crisis himself as a young boy in Africa. When he came to the United States as a refugee, he realized the opportunities he had here and decided to create Didomi in order to make a difference in the community that he came from. Ana is also a lifelong club member himself for 12 years to be exact in the Twin Cities. Just last year, he was recognized as the Midwest Youth of the Year. Woo woo. Welcome to the panel, Ana. Now, I would like to turn it over to Bella, who will introduce our next panelist.
Thanks so much, Deja. Our next panelist is Chloe Thompson. Chloe is a 13-year-old international philanthropist. She started her journey as a philanthropist at the age of 8 when she started her charity, Chloe Cares. Chloe Cares supports the homeless community. She uses her platform to inspire the youth to be change makers, and she travels to Ghana to install water pumps and bathroom facilities in schools that don't have access to clean, safe water. Welcome to the panel, Chloe. Now I will send it over to Shakira, who will introduce our next panelist.
Thanks, Bella. Our next panelist is Maria Rose Belding. Maria Rose Belding is a co-founder and executive director at Means Database, a nonprofit tech company responsible for rerouting more than 3 million pounds of food to people in need across America. As the author of more than a dozen nationally published pieces on food security and poverty, Maria Rose has also had the privilege to speak on the same issues in 27 states. Her work has not gone unnoticed, with recognition from Points of Light, L'Oreal Paris, and the Obama White House with President's Volunteer Service Awards in 2014 and 2016, along with being named a 2018 Glamour College Woman of the Year. In December 2018, at age 23, she became the youngest woman ever named a CNN Hero of the Year. Maria Rose graduated from American University in Washington, D.C. in May 2019, receiving a BS in Public Health while on the pre-med track. In her free time, she enjoys being asleep. Join me in welcoming Maria to our panel. Now, I'll send it back to Deja to introduce our final panelists.
Yay! Thanks so much, Shakira. Our last but not least panelist is Mozaria Bridges. Mozaria, also known as Mo, is the 18-year-old creative director and founder of Mo's Bows Handmade Bow Ties, a Memphis-based and family-run business. After training bow ties for rocks on the school playground, Mozaria's strong fashion sense led him to start his own company at the age of 9. With the help of his mother and retired seamstress grandmother, Mozaria began selling bow ties on his website, mosbowsmemphis.com, and in Memphis retail stores. His colorful handmade ties quickly made an impression on major networks, and he made several rounds on shows as followed: The Steve Harvey Show, The Today Show, The Oprah Magazine, Good Morning America 2020, CBS This Morning, and the Disney Channel, and the hit ABC show Shark Tank. In 2012, Mozaria started the Go Mo Summer Camp Scholarship Fund, a charity focused on sending Memphis children to summer camp. To date, the charity's efforts of Mo's Bows have sent more than 50 kids to summer camp. Currently, Mozaria is focused on expanding his apparel design skills by entering as an emerging fashion designer in the 2020 Memphis Fashion Week fashion show. In his spare time, he will find Mozaria sketching, designing, thrift shopping, and spending time with his family and friends. Join me in welcoming Mo to our panel.
Hey guys, how are you?
Yay!
My name is Mozaria Bridges, and I'm so excited to be here today with you guys.
Yay! And on behalf of all the moderators and the young and the youth and the teens watching, we would like to thank each and every one of you for participating in today's discussion. Before we jump into the discussion, we would love to have you all play an icebreaker with us. The icebreaker is called Lock Screen. We will go one at a time in order to share our phone's lock screen image and then describe why it has meaning to us. Any questions? Alrighty, then I will go first. This is a picture of my lock screen. This is me. I don't know if you can see it. The purpose for me is because this is when I met my friends at the National Military Youth of the Year, Bella, who is on here, and I keep in contact with them at least every month, weekly for some, and I just made a new family with BGCA through that and a place to lay my shoulders at. So that's why that image is so important, because that's where I began my biggest moments in BGCA. So now I would like to give it over to Anna. You are next.
Thank you, Deja. My lock screen is actually, I don't know if you guys can see this. It's a logo of my business, actually. It's like an abstract depiction of a person crossing their finger like this, you know, like when you wish for something or you hope for something. And I made it my lock screen as a constant reminder to always like have hope every single day. I always say that hope is not a stationary and constant thing, right? It requires attention. Hope requires maintenance every single day. Hope is quite literally reinvented every day. And my lock screen is a constant reminder of that every single day.
Thanks, Anna. Next up is Bella.
Hi, guys. So my lock screen is one of the temples out in Japan, in Tokyo. I used to live there for the last 2 years of my high school career. And so I was just able to finish high school there and actually started kindergarten in Japan as well. So it was just a cool, like, full circle moment, and it's really close to my heart. So, you know, I love to keep a constant reminder of that really incredible opportunity that I had. And next, Chloe, would you like to go?
Yeah. Okay. So my lock screen is actually, I don't know if you can see it. It's my little sister. So this day, she was wearing a little fancy wig, and it's this red hair, big wig, and she's wearing this crazy wig with this crown on as well. And then she also had this donut bracelet on, and she was like, ooh, I'm feeling myself. And so I was like, Katie, strike a pose. And so that's exactly what she did. And so I was able to catch that moment. And so that's my lock screen.
That is so cute. Oh my gosh, she sounds amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Shakira, you're next.
Sweet. So my background is me and my best friend since 6th grade. She's just always been there for me, been my rock through everything, and we're actually going to be living together. So I'm excited. And then Maria, you're up next. Can you show us your lock screen?
Yes. All right. Hi, guys. So I have my insulin pump lock screen that has decided to go off. And then I have my cell phone. So I'm going to hit enter on my pump here quick. So it will stop beeping at me. There we go. All right. Here's my lock screen. So that is me holding up a pride flag. That is from right before I came out all the way publicly. This is, I actually came out in a speech at the ELCA youth gathering. So in front of 30,000 kids in NRG Stadium. And this photo is a reminder to me of, okay, no matter what you're doing at work that's scary, you've done the scarier thing already. You did it and it was fine. And now you have a loving partner and your family got cool with it eventually. You've already done the hard thing. So that's what my reminder is. It's like, I did that, I can do anything.
That is amazing. You should definitely have that like framed, just as a concert reminder. It's beautiful. Mo, would you like to go next?
Sure. I just have a regular plain background here, guys. Like I said before, I restarted my phone, and I constantly restart my phone because I have so many pictures in my phone that I like have so much storage. So it tells me that I have to restart it, and every time I restart it, I don't feel like changing the background because I'm gonna have to restart it. So it's just something simple and something fun, something galaxy-like. That's pretty much.
Thank you, Mo, for sharing and for everyone playing along. So for everyone watching, make sure to comment on your lock screen on the chat and let us know which one was your favorite lock screen. Maybe share yours. So let's get into the discussion. Deja, would you like to kick us off?
Yeah, definitely, Shakira. Thank you so much. So each of our panelists is an entrepreneur in their own way. We would like for each of you to share a little bit about yourself and how you created your own company. While each panelist shares their story, please use the chat to enter any questions you may have. And if there's time at the end, we will ask your questions accordingly. Anna, may you please go first and tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, I'd love to. So the concept for my business did not just come out of nowhere. I first have to tell a little bit about my story in order to realize where it came to fruition. I was born in Ethiopia, and in Ethiopia, when I was born, there was a political persecution going on. The government was being oppressive to the group that I belonged to, which was known as the Oromo people. And because of the political mayhem that was going on, getting access to essential resources was close to impossible during this time. Many people in my community lacked access to clean, safe water. And many were actually getting sick because they had to resort to drinking unsafe water from like streams, lakes, or rivers. And I actually had gotten sick at a point from a waterborne disease. My mother was extremely worried. Before I was born, actually, I had lost 2 older siblings due to a waterborne disease. And when you look closely at like many of the challenges people face in developing countries, I think one thing sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's that water is at the root of many of these challenges. And when I came to the United States and in my education, I actually learned that I learned more about water, and I learned that more people die from unsafe water than all forms of violence, including war. And about 50% of all deadly diseases in Africa can actually be attributed to unsafe waters. And so lack of clean, safe water undermines the efforts of many countries to achieve their developmental potential. And you see so much philanthropy in the US and in aid and in donations, yet the thing that was killing most people was actually water. And that's where Didomi comes in. Didomi is a social enterprise that's on a mission to combat the water crisis in developing countries by selling reusable water bottles like this one right here. And one of the biggest culprits that accelerated the water crisis was the plastic water bottle, actually. Plastic bottles were irregularly getting dumped in sources of water, and then it was contaminating waters for so many communities. And so I wanted to replace it with something that will actually mitigate the effects that plastic water bottles were causing. And the cool part about it is that one of these bottles provides 10 years of water access for a person in Africa who needs it the most. And I, throughout this whole experience, I realized that water connects every aspect of life. Access to safe water and sanitation can quickly turn problems into potential, and empowering people with time for school and work and contributing to improved health, right? And more importantly, breaking the cycles of poverty that many people are stuck in. And I wanted to do that by starting Didomi and making that impact one bottle at a time.
Absolutely. And I just love and admire how not only did you solve a problem or try your best to solve a problem in our community, but you lived that problem and you know what it means to have that problem. And you're not just, advocating for other people, but you're advocating for others and yourself, because this is something that you lived. So thank you so much for sharing, Anna. Maria, may you please go next and share a little bit about yourself and your company?
All right, hi guys, my name is Maria Rose. I use she, her pronouns. I'm 24 years old. I started the Means database when I was 14, started building it out as an 8th grader in rural Iowa. I grew up volunteering in the food pantry in my town, which happened to be in my church. And it was very clear, even by the time I was 13 and 14, that we were really behind on technology, that we couldn't talk to each other. The grocery stores, the farmers, us as the food pantry, other food pantries, we couldn't communicate quickly or clearly. And the result was that the only food that we could get was really processed and packaged, which is not great for a lot of people living with things like type 2 diabetes, like high blood pressure, like heart disease. So I remember thinking, okay, but like the internet exists. Like, why are we sending faxes in the year 2009? So came up with Means. This platform that you're seeing now, we work with more than 3,000 soup kitchens, homeless shelters, food pantries, and other emergency food providers spread across all 50 US states, DC, Canada, and Iceland. We built this program that allows grocery stores, restaurants, caterers, folks with extra food, instead of throwing it away, they just go to our website, they go to our app, and they just say, okay, here's what I've got. Here's when I need it gone by. And our system automatically sends free text messages and or emails to all of the verified nonprofits nearby. It allows us to find new homes for food on an average of about half an hour across the United States. We move 95% of the pounds donated on our platform, and it is completely free to use. Our nonprofits do not have to pay us. No one has to buy the food. Truly, this is a solution that was built for people helping other people. So yeah, that's us. And I'm now the boss of 20 employees, which is pretty cool. And at the start of COVID, we got a $750,000 investment from Grubhub. So now on top of all of those things that we were doing, we're also providing more than 2,000 meals custom a day to folks in Philly, LA, Chicago, and Rhode Island that have medical needs that are not being met by a typical food pantry model. So we're pretty busy, but that's what we're up to.
Absolutely, Maria. And I think it's crazy how there's people who can't eat, yet there's billions of pounds of food wasted every day. And it's just mind-boggling. But I'm so happy to hear that you are finding a way to change that gap. So now I would love for Mo to share his opportunities that he's doing for everyone in the world.
Sorry, guys, I was still on mute. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Mozaria Bridges. I am the CEO of Mo's Bows Handmade Bow Ties. I started my company in 2011, and I was about 9 years old. And I originally started because I couldn't find any bow ties. I would go to different stores like Macy's and Dillard's, and I would go in these stores and be like, wow, I really like that tie. And I would ask my mom if I could get it, but she would be like, no, you're not about to get a $50 tie and then have mustard and chocolate all over it. So it was kind of a thing where it was like, okay, I need to find something that really fits my style, because keep in mind the bow ties and ties that were in the store were plain ties like black, brown, and blue. And I wanted something to pop. Like I wanted like different things with personality and different things with fun prints and stuff. So I asked my grandmother, who has been sewing for over 50 years, and she taught me how to sew. And after that, like I said before, my company just boomed. It really took off. And I think it took off just because people really wanted to see a young Black male succeed. And just because I was a fresh face in my community, not a lot of people really go for fashion. People really tend to say, oh, I can be a basketball player or I could be a singer. But I feel like my job and my duty in this industry was to make another way, make another opportunity for people that look like me. And that's pretty much what I do. I originally started out with bow ties, but then I moved to pocket squares, and then I moved to neckties. And we also, of course, have our masks now, so that's pretty cool because of COVID. So it's been a really great opportunity to share my story. I've been able to come out with a book on how I started and my journey and all the things that I went through. So that's pretty much about Mo's Bows and who I am and where I am in life.
Yes, thank you so much. And I just love how you're taking away that stigma of Black males are just athletes. You know, we can be entrepreneurs, we can be intelligent, we can be everything and above and beyond. So thank you so much. Very interesting. Now I'm ready to hear from the amazing Chloe. You are our youngest entrepreneur. Can you please share a little bit how you started and about yourself?
Hi, I'm Chloe Thompson. I'm 13 years old, and I have my own nonprofit organization called Chloe Cares, where I make tote-like bags and I fill them with fancy items, and I pass them out to homeless women, as well as I teach kids leadership workshops and business skills so they can have the same opportunity as I had to start their own businesses. And I take trips to Ghana where I install water pumps and bathroom facilities there so that they can have the opportunity to have clean water, because out there sometimes it takes it takes them a long time just to get so they can be able to get clean water and stay healthy, but as well as if it takes them too long to finish their chores, they're not able to go to school. And so education is such an important thing to me. So that's another thing. And the reason I started Chloe Cares was because I would pass the same homeless woman on my way to school, and I would just ask my mom why or how she was out there, and she would tell me some reasons, and I would just feel really bad for her. And at the time, my grandma, she was teaching me how to sew tote-like bags and shoulder bags, and I told her that I saw this woman and I wanted to do something to help her. And so that's exactly what we ended up doing. We ended up making about like 25 bags, and I started passing them out. And ever since then, I've loved what I do, and I've been able to expand and do so many more amazing things.
Oh, that is so awesome. Yes. She is such a reminder that it does not matter your age, you can still make a difference in the world. So I'd like to get started and ask everyone this question. For those that started at a young age, when you started young, how did you get people to take you seriously and support your idea? This question is for anyone.
Well, personally, I feel like there's no limit on the matter. Well, there's no age limit on how much information you can retain. So I feel like if you have that motivation, if you have that drive, you won't let anyone get in the way. And if you have that skill to know more about your numbers of your company, I feel like people won't have a choice but to take you seriously.
Does any?
For me, my age has always been an obstacle. I just turned 13, And I started when I was 8. I believe, yeah, I started when I was 8 years old. And I would go into a meeting or I would go on conference calls, and people just can't believe that it's actually like me, and it's me behind like a lot of what I do, and that I do like all the hard work. Um, and I just feel like I can hold conversations with adults. I've talked with CEOs, managers, teachers. I can hold a conversation with anyone, and it doesn't really matter who I'm talking to. I know how to adapt to the situation, and I feel like it's also hard for other people to understand that I'm able to do that, and that's also kind of frustrating. But like also, and I think I just how I overcame that is just being confident in whatever I do. And I feel like that's just like the key thing is just to be confident and knowing that I'm here to do this. I'm here to do this, and if somebody else doesn't believe me, I will show that this is something that I love to do, and this is who I am. This is what I do. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing.
So my question is, what advice can you guys give others on finding their passion? Anyone can go ahead and answer.
Well, an easy piece of advice for me would be to, one, to figure out what you like doing, and to two, find out how you can make money doing it. But not only that, but find out how you can help other people by also making money and solving a problem. And I also wrote down a couple of things like being able and being willing to try and be open to new things. Because I remember as a young kid, I was stubborn and I thought that I knew everything, but I had to realize that, it takes different, people to come into my life and different mentorships to really change your perspective. And me being open to learn really had to do a lot with that, and really had to do a lot with me progressing in life with my company and just as a man, period.
Thank you, Mo. Anyone else?
Go ahead. Okay. I was just going to say that it's not necessarily something you have to be able to make money from right away. So like Means, we're the largest company of our kind in North America. And we just got to the point that we were able to start paying staff full time, which is great and sustainable. Not everything that's worth doing is going to make you money, and that's okay.
100%. First, I want to start off by definitely echoing that point. I think that's a really good point. Especially like when you look at a lot of companies and how they start. Like, for example, I think like Nintendo is like one of the biggest video game companies in the world, and they started off selling cards. And so you never actually know where your company might end up going. And so sometimes just keep doing things, and over time you will learn and do that thing that you actually want. But also, like, in terms of finding your passion, I always like find myself being very cautious when I talk about this, because I'm all for doing things that you're very, that you care about. But as an entrepreneur, as Mo was kind of saying, you kind of have to balance that, right? I take a very like human-centered design approach when it comes to entrepreneurship, right? The most important part to me is also my passion, but it's not about me. It's also about people's needs and how I can help and fix those people's needs, right? I can't ignore the market. And so I would first encourage people to actually identify the needs of people in your community that are currently not being met, whatever that might be. Look for problems. But like Mo did, right? Seeing that bowls were really expensive and not fashionable enough, or Maria did with the food waste problems, or same thing that Chloe did with the homelessness. And so find those problems, and then after that, assess your strength, right? Are you good, or can you develop some of the skills that are needed to meet those needs, right? This is where the passion, talent, and your interests do play a role. Whatever is easy for you, I think, is like you should take a hand on those things. Those are typically the worthy options, right? If you're very good at organizing events, that's a hint. If you've been coding since your age of 12, that's a hint. If you're a good public speaker, that's a hint. And so you have to match those two things up, right? Take the problems in your community that you want to fix, and then after that, take those things that you get at and then mix them. And so when you go through life, it's kind of like what you'll find is that what you take out of the world, right? Be it money, cars, things, whatever it is, there is much less important than what you're actually contributing to the world. So my advice would not be just to follow your passion, but also follow your contribution. Find the things that you're great at, that comes easy to you, and put that into the world and contribute to your community and those around you and help the world be better.
That was beautiful. Thank you for your insight.
Yeah, thank you so much. I feel like I need to grab some pen and paper and start writing down some notes to be able to take in these skills and apply it to my own life. But my question for you is, what was the hardest obstacle you faced when starting your business, and how did you overcome it?
For me, I think it was definitely being taken seriously, especially starting at such a young age and being from, rural Iowa. Just the assumption was that I was a hick who didn't know what she was doing. And honestly, I got around it by what also built means, which was being able to prove indisputably that this market existed. I echo Anna's comments about go find the problems in your community and go talk to the people affected by them. I talked to hundreds of food pantries and soup kitchens and shelters around the US, and I had this just big binder of information from them I just asked them what's hard? What about this should be better? If you had somebody that was just going to build you a website or an app, what would it do? And the answers to that became means. And we can't change the way that people perceive us. We can't change that people think that we are less qualified or capable because of our age, because of our gender, because of our sexual orientation, our race. We can't fix that. That's their problem to fix. But what you can do is come in as prepared as humanly possible, because not only will it guide you in doing the best possible thing for the world, it also will help people take you more seriously.
Would anyone else like to share some of the hardest obstacles they faced and how you overcame it with your business?
Well, I think one of the hardest obstacles that I faced was definitely rejection, because I remembered I would be selling at different, farmers markets or different markets where I would be actually able to meet up with my customers. And so I was, standing there, and a lady, she came up to my table and she was like, oh, how much is this bow tie? I really like it. I really like the feel. I like the texture. And then I told her how much it was, realizing that, I had to put a lot of work into the tie. I had to get the fabric. I had to sew it. So, of course, it took a lot of my time. And so when I told her the price and she threw it back down, oh, I could get that at Walmart, it was kind of a thing oh, not everybody is going to be my customer. So that's pretty much when I had to learn, I'm not going to appeal to everyone. Not everyone is going to like my product, and that's fine. I just have to focus on the people that do.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yeah, and for me, I think the hardest obstacle that I faced when starting my business was actually making the leap from I want to make this business to actually going out and doing it. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, kind of have my own company, but making that leap was probably the hardest. And the background that I come from, my parents are refugees and they don't know English or even work whatsoever. So they don't have much resources to provide me other than the unconditional love and support that they've sheltered me with. They're not lawyers or doctors or entrepreneurs themselves. So I had no ground to actually start from. I didn't have anyone in my immediate circle to consult. So for that reason, I would never have thought that I would actually be able to create my own company and be successful in doing so. It was a huge mental block for me. And on top of that, right, as Mo was saying earlier, most successful Black males that you actually see are athletes. And so, but once I was able to overcome that obstacle and that doubt and realize that I also can be an entrepreneur and start a business and be successful at it, I felt like I regained a huge power that was returned to me, right? I kept asking myself, if not me, then who, right? There was no difference between me and a successful person besides, you know, a really good idea and hard work to make it happen. And so that was the biggest obstacle for me. And I hope that everyone watching this right now really hears me out when I say this. I seriously mean it. Always ask yourself, if not me, then who? Because you also can be an entrepreneur. You also can start your own business and be successful at it.
Yeah, you guys are all so amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Well, jumping on with what Anna said and talking about resources, many young people watching may be thinking about starting their own business. How did you all get the funding to get started for your business?
Well, personally, because like I said, when I was starting, I was asking my grandmother, who's been sewing for over 50 years. So it was kind of very easy for me personally to, because she was sewing for that long, she had a whole room dedicated to fabric. So to really put that in general terms, I feel like it would just be better to say, you know, use your resources. My mom always used to tell me this growing up, just use your resources, Mo. Use your resources. And I never really knew what that meant until I got older and started realizing how when you tap into play and you use different things like skills, like communication and really being able to talk to people and being able to relate, then you can go a far and long way. So that's pretty much.
How long did it take you to get started? So kind of going from that idea to me actually making my first bow and saying, this is the first.
So it took me about a couple of months. So when I first started, like I said, from going into the store to really sitting down with my grandmother and being like, I want to know how to make a bow tie. It took me from about like 3 to 4 months to really be able to get the perfect shape of the bow tie down. And it was like so hard. There were so many ties that came out crooked and lopsided and flat that I didn't like at all. But it took hard work and dedication and determination in myself to keep going and to keep pushing through to see the end goal of what I would see now.
In terms of the money question, we didn't. Means did not. I did not start getting paid by Means until I was 20. So 5 to 6 years in, I didn't get paid more than minimum wage until literally 6 months ago. I come from a situation somewhat similar to Anna's, not refugees, but a situation in which mom and dad provided a lot of love and a lot of support, but not a lot of money. And so I was one of those kids who worked during college because she needed to, not for my resume. And for a while, I worked at a job ghostwriting at the Alliance to End Hunger and was in classes and was doing Means. And we got there eventually, but you truly be gentle with yourself, because a lot of the entrepreneur stories that we hear are of, even of young people, are of kids whose mom and dad have money and whose mom and dad can give them $10,000 with which to start their business, or can buy all their supplies for them, or they don't need to work to pay their rent while in college. Grant yourself some grace. You don't have to come from that background to be an entrepreneur. Your life might look different, and that's okay.
I'm 100% behind that. I actually didn't. I think you don't need as much funding as you think.
Yep.
In the beginning, right? Yeah, I actually saved like some money on my own by working. I saved like, this is like $150, $200, and then I bought my first few bottles. And then after that, I used the money that I made from that to get more bottles. But every time I did that, right? Sometimes it wasn't even like I was just buying those bottles to show people and validate my idea, right? The most important part in starting a business is validating your business model and proving that it works and you can make money from it or make an impact, right? A good idea is a good idea and people will support it. And like there are business competitions that you can enter to win lots of prizes, and most importantly, expose yourself to mentors and friends that could invest in your business down the line. And once you prove your business model and that you're profitable, you'll have people come knocking on your door looking to invest in you and actually help scale your business. And yeah, people will actually come to you, like, and it's not all the time, but it's actually happening to me right now. So you just have to validate your idea. And again, a good idea is a good idea.
Chloe, did you have to have a lot of money or a little bit of money to get your nonprofit started as well?
With me, I started with little to no money with my nonprofit. I don't come from a family of money. So really, I feel the same way. Even though I'm not in college or anything, I don't have to really pay for rent yet. But yeah, I started with little to no money. Like when I first started making my bags, my mom, she would go to Joann's and she would go to the scrap fabric section because they would have like rolls of like their extra scrap that they would use. And we would just buy those because they weren't like super expensive as buying like a yard of fabric, you know. And so we would do that. And then also we would just go to my grandma's house because we couldn't buy a machine yet. And so we just used her machine all the time. And so we always have to drive to her to go see her just to sew bags, but also just to hang out with her and stuff. But we would do that, and then we had to buy the little travel-sized items at first. But luckily now we get everything donated. But it took a little while for that to happen. But yeah, it first started with us like little to no money, having to buy the little travel-sized items. So now actually getting donations of the big bulk-sized that are so helpful because the ladies are saying that the little ones don't last them very long. So they're hoping that we can get the big ones, and so that's what we put out on social media, and we ended up getting a bunch of donations, and so it just kind of happened. But yeah, that's really it.
And Maria, another point you said was be gentle to yourself, which I really loved. So I have a question for you all, not just Maria, but what's a good way to tell those that are starting to get into business how to find a balance in between it? Because when I think of an entrepreneur, I think what you're putting in all that work and dedication, that it's just that, you don't have room or time to have friends, to party, to hang out. Is that true or is that not true? Can I still find that balance to do other things, or is my entire world focused on that one thing?
Your entire world isn't maybe focused on that one thing, but your life is absolutely different. I don't think you're running a business if you're having a normal college experience. Like I never went to a college party. I never went to my school's like Founders Day ball, but I got to go accept an award in a ball gown on live television in front of 60 million people on CNN. So like, I feel like I still win. Like your experience is different, but that doesn't mean it isn't just as good or frankly better. Like I miss doing theater. I miss doing music. I miss being on a dance team like I was when I was a kid. But I get to know that this thing that I do at the end of the day matters. Even when I am not always in a position with my own mental health to feel like I matter, what I have done matters. And other than that, I mean, I'm really just, this is very much a situation of the pot calling the kettle, because I struggle a lot with being kind to myself, with balancing everything. The one thing I'll say is nobody has it all the way together. Absolutely no one. Like I have 4 signed letters from various non-current US presidents on my wall, and underneath that is a pile of laundry I have not done in 4 weeks. Nobody has it all the way together. Nobody's life is as assembled or as well balanced or going as well as it appears to it as based on their Instagram. So be kind to yourself. Keep in mind that even the most successful people are riding the struggle bus in at least one area of their life, and just try to be gentle with yourself as much as you can. Because I wish I'd done that much sooner.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing. Oh, you can go ahead, Chloe.
For me, I was able to balance school and my Chloe cares. But there was one point where one of my teachers didn't really care for what I did, and she was not there to like support or anything. She was basically says she acted as if she was choosing favorites. We're not doing that. We're not here to choose favorites. Yeah, I understand that, but she didn't give special things, especially for when I travel. She wasn't gonna let me make up my work. She wasn't gonna let me do certain things. So I had to go to homeschool. But when I was in regular school, it was a great experience, and I was able to juggle both those, and I still had a good social life. Even right now, I have a good social life. Even though I'm homeschooled, I have plenty of friends who are homeschooled. I'm able to do so much more now, and I'm able to do what I love and still be able to see my friends, still be able to have a knots pass and go to knots sometimes. I'm still able to juggle both, but kind of like how Maria said, nobody has their life together. Nobody does. And I feel like there are points in life where, for me, it's like, oh no, I have this paper due this time, and then I also have to write this. I also have this speech to do, and then, but there's still always, once you get there and you're talking to all those people, or you finish that paper, it's always great. So it's just always great. The end result's always great.
Thank you guys for sharing all that. It was all amazing. So to kind of finish off our discussion, I have one more question. How do you guys get others to believe in you, to support you, and to buy your product?
I think I truly believe that if you're passionate about what you do and you believe in it, others will follow. I'm sure whoever designed and made the pencil wasn't worried about who was going to support or going to believe, but they just believed in their product and that it was going to work. And I always use this example with water. For this entire, you always have to see a whole entire aisle of water. So Dasani water is never worrying about just water or Crystal Geyser water or whatever water. They just make water, and your idea may look like somebody else's or somebody else's product, but you just be yourself, and you have to just be yourself and believe in what you're doing, and everybody will realize, oh, she really believes and she's very confident about what she does and her product and her water company. They're just so confident, and they believe in what they're doing, because there's Dasani water over there. But guess what? Her water is different because it has this. She really believes in it. Each person believes in their own product, and like I said, if you believe in it, they will follow.
Yes, and I also said that you can get others to believe in you by simply just by having a good story that really captures a product and your journey. But specifically for me, people love the fact that I was so young and that I had a company, and that I was so interested in fashion and that I was doing something different in my community that not a lot of other people were doing. So just having a really good story that captures, like I said, the journey and everything that you've been through really helps with people believing in you. And it's a really quick way of getting people on your team.
I will throw in to find some teammates, because the right people to work with you are ones who care about it just as much as you do. You're one human being. You're not going to be good or know how to do absolutely every single thing that is required when you run a nonprofit or a for-profit company. That's okay. You can hire people. I frankly got people to believe in means because I had a whole crew of people that I believe in tremendously, that I am incredibly proud to be the boss of, that there's 19 other people making this happen every day. I believe in them, and that allows me to believe in means. And opportunities like this exist pretty much everywhere. My youngest employee is 14 years old. She's a web developer. These opportunities exist. So maybe you don't want to start a company, but there's a small nonprofit that you see that's doing really cool stuff, or there's an outlet in your town that's doing awesome stuff. Go ask. They might have room for you.
Yeah, 100% want to echo the part about telling a story. I think to really get people to believe in you and your product and your business, you have to tell a good story. Yes, the idea is cool, but you need other people. You need to build a community in order to make it happen. For example, I could tell you to buy my water bottle, right? Or I could tell you about how my experiences as a refugee in Ethiopia and my experiences with the water crisis led me to make this product that provides people 10 years of water access, right? Which one is more compelling? It's definitely the one with the story. And look, you have social media, use it like Chloe did with her bags. Use social media to tell your stories.
Thank you guys for sharing. Deja, would you like to wrap us up?
Thank you so much, Shakira. On behalf of the moderators, Bella and Shakira, and all the youth watching, we want to thank you all for participating in today's discussion. We really appreciate all that you do. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion, but we want you to know we don't want you to stop right here. You can make positive change in your community, just like the entrepreneurs you heard from today.
We invite you to participate in the Boys and Girls Clubs of America's Pitch Fest and Hackathon Challenge.
What's that, you may ask? We want to give you a chance to think about a problem in your community and a business you can create to help solve that problem. For example, Chloe wanted to provide the homeless with essential toiletries, and Anna wanted clean water access for all. What is the problem you see in your community? Use the chat box to share a few.
So if you want to identify your own problem within your own community and solve it, you can enter our Pitch Fest. But if you want to solve a particular problem that we give you, you can create a problem and enter into the hackathon. The hackathon problem is as follows: how to increase engagement at your local club. With COVID-19, social distancing changing the way we interact, what is the solution you can come up with to get more youth involved at your club?
We want to help you make positive change in your community. So remember, if you want to identify your own community problem, you'll enter our Pitch Fest. But if you want to solve a problem that we give you, then just follow the prompts that Deja said. So we will select 10 participants, 5 from Pitch Fest submissions and 5 for the hackathon submissions to be a part of the virtual competition. And from each of those, one lucky winner will be selected and will be awarded $750 to assist them in turning their ideas into an actual attainable reality, which I think is amazing.
So if you guys want to be a part of this competition, please go to myfuture.net at home activities and look for the Whatever It Takes to Make Positive Change badge. The activities in this badge will help you identify your problem, create a solution, and then create and submit your 90-second pitch. Change can start with you. So start today. Submissions are open now and will run through August 15th.
Thanks so much for joining our discussion today, and we can't wait to see your amazing ideas. Don't forget, join us on Saturday, August the 29th for the virtual Pitch Fest and Hackathon. Thanks for tuning in, and see you all soon.
Thank you.